Hi friends, it's Terry Stewart, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator located in the U.S. and Central Maryland. Welcome to the March 2026 Global SU Share Fair. So I'm really excited to show you my project. I am away from my stamp room again, so I've recorded this presentation. It's great. It features one of the online exclusive collections called Poetry Garden, Paradise Garden, I don't know, we'll get into it. I'll show you everything that is in the suite that I use. I used most everything in the suite except an embellishment. So let's get started. So as I said, I am using the Paradise Garden bundle, which comes from the Garden Poetry Suite, which is an online exclusive. So you'll have to go online to the demonstrator who visit the site of the demonstrator who invited you, her online store, and you can check this out. And Paradise Garden, the bundle comes with the stamp set, which has some floral images, some greenery images, some great sentiments, and I love this one, this little one. You are appreciated. Today we're using wishing you a lovely day, along with this image of a leaf. And the bundle includes, it's a hybrid, so it has dies along with a hybrid embossing folder. So I'm just using the embossing folder today. It is a 3D embossing folder, so you'll see that in use in a bit. The dies come with this large banner or small banner, this six-sided shape. We're using that one today. And then it can cut out some of the foliage and flower images in the stamp set. And then this die fits into the embossing folder, and it'll just cut out the leaves. It cuts around them so you can lift them up and give them some dimension. Now I'm not using this today, but it's a real cool feature. So let me show you the card that I am making today, demonstrating, and it's this card. So you can see the embossing folder is used, and this lovely DSP, and this is actually the reverse side of it, this shape. So let me show you a little bit more that's in that collection. So the Garden Poetry DSP, and it has these lovely colors, a variety of colors, I guess I should say, and they are lovely. There's the green, it's kind of a yellow, and this does kind of do an ombre effect. And you can see this one as well as an ombre, yellow and oranges. And then the back is like a watercolor, multicolored watercolor. And then some green ferns and more watercolor. Green. Then you have this lovely dark blue. Isn't that gorgeous? And more watercolor. And then these oranges. And then an ombre watercolor. And then the pattern we're using today has Berry Burst into Blackberry Bliss, and you can see how gorgeous that is. So this is the side that I cut for the front of the card, and then on the back I just used the die on this piece and stamped right on that. So lovely. And then there's coordinating, but there's more in the suite. You get this textured, garden textured foil paper, and it comes in 3 different colors. Open this up. It has Berry Burst, and I think you can see the texture on that. It is single-sided because it is foil, and then this blue color and green. Isn't that lovely? Love it. And the final, well, there's 2 more items into the, I just want to check this. With Berry Burst, Blueberry Bushel, and Shaded Spruce are the 3 colors. And then the embellishments in the collection, these epoxy dots, garden epoxy dots, and they're solid, and then these on the ends have little flowers in them. Super cute, and they coordinate with the paper. And the last embellishment is this shiny 1/4-inch ribbon. It says it's Berry Burst, but it looks a little dark to me, but anyway, that's what it says, Berry Burst. So you get all that in the collection. So go online and check that out. Let me shift a few things here for you. And let me bring in my supplies. Now the supplies, there's a supply list. Get with a demonstrator who invited you to this event, and she would be happy to give you the PDF that comes with photos, links to the videos, supply list with cutting measurements. Just ask, that's all you have to do. So here is my supplies. I have a 1/2 sheet of Blackberry Bliss, cut, so it's a 1/2 sheet scored in half. I have a piece of Whisper White. Oh no, it's not Whisper White anymore. It's Basic White, and that's for the inside of my card. And I will be doing some stamping on that. So you can see I'm using the Blackberry Bliss ink for that little bit of foliage. And if I remember, I'm going to stamp my envelope, and we'll see if I remember that. So anyway, Basic White piece, that's 3 3/4 by 5 inches, which I think for my metric friends is 9.5 by 13.9 centimeters. Same size for this garden textured foil. They're a similar size. And then I have a piece of that DSP, the Paradise Garden, and let me see, it's 3 3/4 by 3, so 3 3/4 by 3. So it's the width of the foil. And then I cut out this die cut from the coordinating dies, and it's just the back side of that, of the pattern, same pattern, just that. So let's get some stamping done. Well, first let's do some die cutting. I've already die cut the label. And here's my embossing folder. Now, if I wanted to, I could have put that die will fit right in here and lift up, cut around some of these leaves, but I didn't want that for this card. So I am going to turn my foil upside down onto the side that has the Stampin' Up! Label. I'm going to line it up. There's a line right here that helps you to keep everything straight. Put that down, and then take this to my, so now it's kind of wonky. So sometimes you can face that label towards you. You can see that black line. Line up your cardstock, and then go to your cut and emboss machine. Now you will need the gray plate that comes with the cut and emboss machine, because this is a 3D embossing. And then I'm going to run it through on the spine first. All right, so I'll be right back. And now you can see that nice 3D embossing. It really, really adds on this foil. Just gives a lovely, lovely impression. All right, so now we're ready to do some stamping. So we're going to stamp on our label, and we are going to stamp on our Basic White. I am using Blackberry Bliss, so this is a monochromatic card where we're having Blackberry Bliss, Berry Burst, and that's a repeating color on this card. So Blackberry Bliss. And as I said, I'm using this stamp. Now, it is stained because the Blackberry Bliss is such a dark color. It does not impact in any way stamping. So even though it's stained, stamps perfectly well. And I'm just going to center my greeting, my sentiment. And you can look, it's photopolymer, so you can look right through the stamp for ideal placement. Give that a little press. Perfect. And now I'm going to use the other stamp from that set, this floral leafy or leafy image. And it too is stained, but stamps perfectly well. No issues with that. And I'm going to put that down in the left corner. Give that a little press. Lovely. And I did remember that I wanted to stamp my envelope, so let me bring that in here, ink that up. And I'm just going to put that here on the left too. Give a little press. All right, so now that is all the ink and stamping we are doing. That's all the ink we'll be using on this project. And let me shift some things and bring in my Paradise Garden piece of DSP. Now when you cut it, you do want it to be in a landscape. So the short edge, the long edge, you want landscape. So your pattern, if you have a pattern that has an up and a down. So I don't know that I would have liked to put this in that direction. You know, in a portrait, because the flowers, it's a landscape piece of DSP. Just make sure when you're cutting it that the long edge matches your pattern. I hope I'm conveying what I'm trying to say. And I'm just going to use my liquid glue for this. And I'm not putting too much. I don't want it to ooze out. So I'm being pretty cautious about how much I'm using. And I don't think that this embossing has a up or a down, so it doesn't really matter, but you can turn it around to see, you know, which way you like the pattern. I think it doesn't really matter. And I'm going to eyeball where I put my pattern paper on top of it. I kind of want an equal distance. It doesn't have to be perfect. And with the glue, I can slide it a little bit. Pretty much center your pattern paper on top of your foil. Now I'm going to bring in the shiny 1/4 inch ribbon. I'm going to wrap that around and tie a knot. I tie off the spool because if I cut it, I always cut too short or too long, so it just works better for me to tie off the spool. Let's trim the edge. I think that looks very tidy. Maybe trim this little edge over here too. And let me bring in my bone folder. So this is a half sheet scored in half. I'm just going to crisp up that score line and place my card panel on the front. Straighten this ribbon up. I can put a glue dot underneath of it, and you can see the embossing, how deep that 3D embossing works its way into this foil specialty paper. Put a little glue on that ribbon to hold it in place, and then I'm just going to center my card front on the card base. Give that a nice little press. And on the inside, put my piece, my card liner. And so I've cut this the same dimensions as the card front, and especially in dark cardstock, it kind of really makes a nice frame, I feel. It mimics the card front. For my piece, my sentiment, my die cut, I'm going to put some dimensionals behind that because I am the queen of dimensionals. I love dimensionals. I love the interest they bring to my cards. That would be the one item I'd have to have on a deserted island. Put it towards the right hand side, just above that ribbon, and make sure that it's straight on. And there we go. I hope you enjoyed this presentation featuring the Garden Poetry Suite, which is available as an online exclusive and includes the Paradise Garden bundle. Please like and subscribe to my channel so you'll be notified the next time I go live with another fun project. Until next time, remember, stamping is fun. Bye.